What if war has always been an algorithm waiting to be discovered? Have you ever stopped to wonder why a Chinese general who lived over 2,500 years ago is still being read by Silicon Valley CEOs, NATO military strategists, and artificial intelligence engineers? The answer will blow your mind. Sun Tzu wasn't just writing about warfare, he was encoding the logic of human conflict in such a universal way that today, when you look at the most advanced AI systems on the planet, you find the exact same principles he described in ancient China. The Art of War isn't a military strategy book. It's a manual for optimizing decisions under uncertainty. And that, my friend, is exactly what artificial intelligence does. When Sun Tzu said, "Know the enemy and know yourself," he was talking about data collection and analysis. When he said, "Win without fighting," he was describing algorithmic efficiency. Every chapter of that book is a logical function waiting to be programmed. Think about it. Sun Tzu's entire mindset was based on patterns. He observed how armies moved, how generals thought, how terrain influenced outcomes. He created a predictive system based on observable variables. This isn't philosophy. This is primitive machine learning, done with paper, brush, and a brilliant mind. He understood that war was information in motion, and whoever processed that information faster would win. Today, artificial intelligence algorithms do exactly that. They collect data, identify patterns, predict behaviors, and optimize outcomes. The difference is that Sun Tzu did it with human intuition trained by experience. AI does it with computational power. But the logic? The same. The structure? Identical. Sun Tzu's high performance was in his ability to transform chaos into pattern, exactly like a modern algorithm does. And here's what nobody tells you. The engineers developing AI systems for strategic games, financial trading, military simulations, they study Sun Tzu, not as philosophical inspiration, as logical architecture, because he mapped human behavior under extreme conditions in a way that translates perfectly into programming code. He created the algorithm of war before computers even existed. So what if Sun Tzu wasn't just a strategist? What if he was the first data scientist in history? What if everything you need to understand artificial intelligence was already written millennia ago, waiting for technology to catch up with wisdom? If you're feeling that spark of curiosity right now, type algorithm in the comments. And if this connection between past and future hit you hard, drop that like, because we're just getting started digging why every modern AI system follows Sun Tzu's 5 factors. Let me show you something that's going to blow your mind. In the first chapter of The Art of War, Sun Tzu lists 5 fundamental factors that determine victory or defeat. He called them Tao, heaven, earth, general, and method. Now hold this information. When you look at the structure of any modern artificial intelligence system, you find exactly the same 5 pillars, just with different names. The Tao, for Sun Tzu, was moral alignment, direction, the purpose that unites everyone toward a common goal. In AI, this translates to the objective function. Every machine learning algorithm needs a clear objective function. What is it trying to optimize? What's the North Star? Without that, you have processing without direction, wasted computational power, exactly like an army without clear purpose disintegrates into chaos. Sun Tzu's discipline was defining the Tao before any movement. AI's discipline is defining the objective function before training the model. Heaven represented time, weather, external, and changing conditions. In artificial intelligence, this is the data environment. AI needs to understand the context in which it operates. Temporal data, environmental data, external variables that constantly change. A model trained for summer fails in winter. An algorithm that ignores heaven is blind to half of reality. Sun Tzu knew that ignoring external conditions was suicide. AI engineers know that ignoring data context guarantees failure. Earth was terrain, geography, available physical resources. In AI, this is infrastructure, hardware, processing capacity, memory, network architecture. You can have the best algorithm in the world, but if your infrastructure is weak, you lose. Sun Tzu said a general must know the terrain better than the enemy. An AI engineer must know their computational limitations and exploit them to the maximum. High performance doesn't come from ignoring constraints, but from mastering them. The general was leadership, decision-making, the intelligence that coordinates everything. In AI, this is the model itself. The trained algorithm that makes decisions based on data. Just like a general needs experience, a model needs training. Just like a general needs wisdom, model needs quality data. And here's the deadly detail. Sun Tzu said, an incapable general destroys his own army. A poorly trained model destroys the entire system. The mindset is identical. And method? That was discipline, organization, logistics, operational structure. In AI, this is the data pipeline and training process. How do you collect data? How do you clean it? How do you train? How do you validate? That's system resilience. Sun Tzu built victories before battle began through method. Modern AI builds performance before processing a single prediction through the pipeline. 5 factors, 25 centuries apart, same logic. This isn't coincidence. It's universal. Pattern. If you're seeing the matrix now, type pattern in the comments and subscribe to the channel because this archaeology of success is just beginning. How the win without fighting principle became the foundation of strategic AI. Here's the most revolutionary concept Sun Tzu left for humanity, and that artificial intelligence is using to dominate the world right now. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. This sounds like pacifist philosophy, but it's the most brutal and efficient strategy ever conceived. And it's exactly what the most advanced algorithms do today. Let's translate this. When Sun Tzu said, win without fighting, he was talking about anticipating, manipulating the environment, and making victory inevitable before confrontation happens. He didn't want to avoid war out of fear. He wanted war to be unnecessary because victory was already guaranteed. That's maximum efficiency. And that's exactly what strategic AI systems do in negotiations, financial markets, military simulations, and even games like chess and Go. Look at AlphaGo, the AI that defeated the world champion of Go. Go is infinitely more complex than chess, but AlphaGo didn't just win by calculating more moves. It won by creating positions where victory became mathematically inevitable. It didn't fight on every move. It built a network of pressure so suffocating that the opponent lost without realizing they'd already lost. That's Sun Tzu encoded. High performance isn't about direct confrontation. It's about strategic positioning so superior that confrontation becomes unnecessary. Now think about high-frequency trading algorithms. They don't battle the market. They anticipate price movements with milliseconds of advantage and create positions where profit is statistically guaranteed before any other player perceives the opportunity. They win without fighting because they redefined what fighting means. They transformed combat into positioning. Where did this mindset come from? From strategists like Sun Tzu, who understood that information processed faster than the adversary is guaranteed victory. And there's more. In cybersecurity, the most advanced defensive AI systems don't wait for attacks to happen to react. They model behaviors, anticipate threat vectors, and close vulnerabilities before hackers exploit them. They win without fighting, because the battle never gets to happen. This is the discipline of anticipation that Sun Tzu preached, now executed in nanoseconds by machines. The principle is simple but devastating. If you can collect enough information, process it fast enough, and position yourself before the adversary realizes, you don't need confrontation. You've already won. War is decided before the first shot. Negotiation is decided before the first offer. The game is decided before the first move. This is the essence of high performance in the 21st century. And Sun Tzu mapped this when the most advanced technology of his time was a bronze sword. If you want this mindset operating in your life, comment anticipation down below and drop that. Like if you're seeing the future through the eyes of the past. What if you're being manipulated by algorithms following Sun Tzu without you realizing it? Now comes the part that's going to make you uncomfortable. Everything we've talked about so far isn't just theory, it's happening to you right now. At this exact moment, you're inside artificial intelligence systems, using Sun Tzu's principles to influence your behavior, your decisions, your desires. And you don't even notice. When you open a social media app, an algorithm is waging war for your attention. It's not fighting directly, it's applying, win without fighting. It collects data about what you click, how long you watch, what makes you emotional, what irritates you. It knows you better than you know yourself. Sun Tzu said, "Know the enemy." The algorithm knows you, and it uses that knowledge to create a feed so personalized, so irresistible, that you can't stop scrolling. You think you're in control, but you're responding to a system designed to anticipate and manipulate your impulses. Streaming platforms do the same thing. They don't offer you random choices. They map your consumption pattern, identify emotional triggers, and build a sequence of recommendations where each next click feels like your decision, but it was architected. This is Sun Tzu in action. Terrain, timing, knowledge of the adversary. Except the adversary is you. And their victory is you watching one more episode when you should be sleeping. E-commerce? Same logic. Dynamic pricing based on your browsing history. Offers that expire to create urgency. Products recommended by machine learning that knows exactly what you want before you want it. This is an accident. It's war. Strategy applied to consumer behavior. Modern commercial high performance is Sun Tzu operating at industrial scale. But here's the crucial point that changes everything. If you understand how these systems work, you can flip the game. You can use the same principles in your life. Collect data about yourself. Identify patterns in your behaviors. Anticipate your own weaknesses and strengthen defenses before failing. Create an environment around you where your goals become inevitable. You can become the general of your own existence using the same mindset Sun Tzu taught and AI executes. The difference between being manipulated and being strategic is awareness. Between being the terrain and being the general. Between reacting and anticipating. Sun Tzu gave you the map 2,500 years ago. Artificial intelligence proved it works. Now the question is, will you keep being the battlefield, or will you become the strategist? If you're ready to flip the game, type strategist in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and share this video with anyone who needs to wake up to the algorithmic reality we're living in.